Hello and namaste, my beautiful friends. I am Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of April the 21st, 2025. Now, this is a week when I'm going to put the astrological caution flag up. There is some volatility this week for sure. Now, as we start the week, keep in mind the entire week we have Venus walking with Saturn, walking with the North Node. We call this in astrology a stellium when you have 3 or more planets less than 3 degrees apart. These planetary energies, the energy of love and values and money, the planet of limitations, structure, hard lessons, and the amplifier of the karmic dragon's head are all hanging out within a degree of each other. So you can't really untangle these energies. These energies are functioning as a whole. The North Node is an amplifier. The Saturnian element requires hard work and asks for integrity. And Venus, of course, loves being in Pisces because she wants to be empathetic and compassionate, romantic, but yet there's the grumpy old man of Saturn and then the fire of the dragon. In Pisces, this is the very end of the zodiac. It's very, very strong. And we're really feeling the implications of the dissolution of some of the structures that Neptune dissolved, that Saturn is now coming through, sweeping up the bits and getting ready to create something new when it moves into Aries at the end of May. Now, we also have Uranus, the planet of magic and synchronicity, the higher level of Mercury, the planet that rules the internet and these higher levels of technology, but also is the planet of revolutions and breakthroughs. It is vibing beautifully with this group of planets in Pisces. It is also beautifully connected to the South Node, which stands across from this grouping of planets in the sign of Virgo. This is our saving grace this week. I really feel that. This Uranian element. It's almost like something has to come out of the blue, a shock, something that finally just comes together in a minute that allows you to move forward in some way. So be aware of when those synchronicities are happening. Be open to the possibilities. Don't allow the mind to get rigid or locked into thinking, well, it's not possible. This is a week where anything is possible. Now, as we start the week on the 21st, we also need to keep in mind that we are prepping for the Sun, to get into a negative configuration with Pluto. So Sun in Taurus clashing with Pluto in Aquarius. Sun in Taurus is going to be active all week in this square. We're really going to feel it. And in fact, it's going to set up a T-square with the new moon that that's featured at the end of the week. So, Taurus friends, it's not going to feel real great, okay? You've got Uranus pulsing away in the sign of Taurus. We've got the Sun in Taurus being squared. This also brings up the potential for problems with money, problems in finance, problems with supply chains, problems with the Earth herself. Now, this supportive trine, I think, is helpful with Saturn, but there's still the potential for weather events and some difficulties here. Another thing that puts the caution flag up for this week, not only the consequential Saturn energy really being amplified by its presence with Venus and with the nodes of the moon, is that Mars and Pluto are gearing up for their third and final opposition. Now, you'll remember that Mars has been in its retrograde cycle. It entered the shadow back in September of last year. And 3 times it meets with Pluto. The first time was the first week of November. The second time was the first week of January. And now we have our third and final tug of war, opposition. These 2 powerful planets, both considered malefics, stand across the sky from each other in a tension position. Pluto in transformative Aquarius, ruling the masses. Pluto also ruling the masses, right? These are 2 really vibrant, powerful placements. To have Pluto across from Mars and to have Pluto in Aquarius across from Mars. Mars is in the sign of Leo, the king, the leader, the head of the company, the person on the podium. And so the masses are arguing with the king and these energies are both both considered to be malefic or tense. Well, here comes the poor sun in Taurus, and I'm a Taurus, so I get this energy, kind of dawdling along like cows will do, and walking in the middle of this argument and getting caught up in the tension between these two powerful forces. Now, this will culminate in a really tense new moon at 7 degrees of Taurus at the end of the week on the 27th. But here's another little factor that we've got to introduce here. Standing across the sky from the sun in Taurus is Lilith, the divine feminine rebel in Scorpio. And she is going to create a fixed square with this energy. So we have all 4 fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, all in this face-off of tension with this new moon at the end of the week. So I'm not really thinking of this as a big manifestation moon. This is a wake-up call moon. This is going to show you where the power players are standing and how they're going to be in potential conflict with each other. This is going to show you where some of the themes that came up last November, early January, well, they're going to really feel very important and powerful now. So again, caution flag is up. Watch for power struggles, arguments, power games, people who are trying to manipulate or control other people. Remember, we still have Neptune newly in Aries. We're still exploring how we can be inspired, but also confused by this new powerful energy. The other thing that I want to introduce for the week is that we finally have Mercury getting out of the shadow zone, and this occurs on the 26th. It occurs at the 26th at 9 degrees of Aries. That 9-degree point has been kind of vital. It was an eclipse there. We've had the Mercury retrograde there. We've had the Venus retrograde there. So this point has really had a lot of agitation, a lot of pushing. So I think Mercury, when he finally breaks through the doors and gets away from these points, he's going to feel really enthusiastic and move forward with some strength and power. So know where Aries is for you in your life, because you will feel like you're finally making some progress. Now, another thing to mention is that we have a pretty extended moon void on that date, the 26th. It's at 12:18 p.m. Eastern until the next day at 3 o'clock in the morning, about 3:17 a.m. So anyways, it's a kind of a big floaty day. So there's going to be some powerful understandings. There's going to be some shifts that come from that Venus or from Mercury getting out of the shadow. Sorry, I'm tangling my words today. I can't wait for Mercury to get out of there. It's on my Saturn as we speak. So looking forward to this getting out of there. But then we've got this powerful new moon. It is the 27th at 3:31 p.m. Eastern. If you know your charts, it's at 7 degrees of Taurus. And as I mentioned, it's really a pressure cooker of a new moon. It will reveal to us, I believe, some new rules regarding money and finance that we may not like. It may bring weather-related events. Mother Earth may have to respond to this energy as well. So make sure that you've got your backup systems in place and that you are approaching this week with caution. Now, I will also mention that I think for the week, the light, the bright, the thing to look forward to is Mercury getting out of shadow. And again, I love this Uranian connection to Saturn and Venus in the North Node. It's bigger than each of us individually. There are bigger cycles that are unfurling and unfolding. It's giving us new possibilities. So don't look at what's broken and on the floor and think, oh my gosh, how will I put this back together? No, no, no. How will you regroup and build something new? That is the theme. As far as the shadow, that argumentative Mars-Pluto, slow down. Do everything a little bit more slowly. Don't knock out some, aggressive text or email and hit the send button, right? You may really regret that. Don't be aggressive in your interactions with people, even when you're driving. Slow down. Listen to peaceful music. Have a mantra going on. Find reasons to embrace nature and the natural cycles of things, so that you feel supported, you feel a sense of there will be a new dawn, there will be a new day. I think it's really important that we try to do that this week. I'm also going to keep an eye on that Sun square to these argumentative planets, because again, I'm a Taurus, but we all have Taurus energy in us somewhere. And so there's somewhere that we want peace. We want stability. We want to enjoy the physical pleasures of life. So try to slow down and tune into the positive ways that that energy manifests. And then finally, for the last shadow, Venus with Saturn. Venus with Saturn is just heavy. But in a lot of ways, this is a truth serum. It's a reality check. It's okay, well, you really wanted that, but here's the truth of the matter. See it clearly so that you can move forward. Even if it makes you feel profoundly sad, which Saturn can sometimes do. Saturn can bring feelings of melancholy or grief, or a mourning for what was or what could have been. But we need to let that go and move forward with style. We move forward with grace to what is next. We have to still remain nimble. It's big astrology. All right, so I hope you found this useful and helpful. We're going to now move over to the Celtic Cross, which I've done on this new moon, so hopefully it will give you some guidance. And please do check out, I did an Isis Lotus Tarot spread on this week. I posted that separately. This is my new thing. I will also mention I'm going to be teaching at Nadia Shah's Synchronicity University on astrology and karma in May. She has this wonderful university online where she offers an abundance of teachings and wisdom with a sliding scale payment. So you just pay what you can afford. You have a range. And if you get in early, it's only $5 a class. It's such a wonderful offering. She's so generous, and she generously has invited me back to teach. So I hope I'll see some of you there for that workshop at the end of May. Hop on synchronicityuniversity.com for more information. And of course, if you found this useful and helpful, please comment, please like, please share it with a friend. It does help the channel to grow and encourage me to film every week. I'm not sure video is my medium, guys. Anyways, I wish you an abundant, safe, gentle week, and I'll see you in the tarot. Hello, my friends. Let's take a look at a Celtic Cross on this new moon. This is a bit of a tense one, right? There's definitely some tension here with this new moon, a little bit of volatility. So let's do a Celtic Cross for the collective on the best way to utilize this energy. Like, what are we going to try to manifest? So where should the focus be? Alrighty, so we're going to start out, and the first card is us. Okay, so we are in this Four of Cups energy. Now, I love this card, but it's also always kind of a little confusing for me as the reader. It's like, ooh, should we be trusting the universe, or are we just letting magic slip through our fingers? So we'll take a look at this as we continue to kind of see what that message is. What is crossing us? The influence in this situation, it's the Star. We're trying to put the pieces back together after some massive change. Now, in the past, the things that have built up to this is pretty interesting. If you watched the Isis Lotus Tarot spread that I uploaded yesterday, this card came up as one of the most important culmination cards, like a key card. Or culmination card. So interesting. Two of Swords is this essence of not looking at something or avoiding the truth or self-deception, which of course is the worst kind of deception. As Kriyananda would say, lie to other people and there are definitely karmic consequences, but lying to yourself is dire. It is terrible. Future. 9 of Wands. So we will need to feel like we need to work a little harder, to have a little bit of faith and trust as we move forward this week. Now, the mind is worried about the money. Yeah, I feel like there's a big financial thing this week. Definitely possible with the Uranian influence for sure, but definitely focused on this sense of feeling excluded, sense of lack of money, lack of even support, like not feeling like we fit in or accepted or welcome. And the subconscious, the high priestess. So if you're watching this, then you know that there is a cosmic purpose, that you are supported, that the divine feminine is at work for you and for us. And so keep holding this as a subtext, as a deep inner current as you work on your manifestations for this particular new moon. Now, the advice card is Three of Cups. Look for the positive. Feel into what you really feel fulfilled by doing. This is a new moon to manifest more happiness, more joy. Those are the indicators that you're doing the right thing. Life doesn't have to be a slog. I'll never forget one of my clients once. She just sat down with me. She was a woman in her early 60s, and she just looked at me and said, I'm just not doing hard things anymore. I'm going to just keep doing things that seem easy and fulfilling. And I was just like flabbergasted at that very wise statement. You do not have to push, okay? So let joy be part of the foundation here. Now the outside influence, Three of Wands. This same card also showed up in the previous Isis Lotus Tarot reading. So there is something you've been working on, that you have made some progress already. And so the intentions here may include the continuation of something you've been striving for. Now, what do you want to happen? Page of Swords. Well, there's a part of you, I call this the bratty kid card, but part of our influence of the week, or what we're kind of focused on, is that we don't want to be making the decisions that we're having to make, and we don't want to have to do some of these hard things. We don't want things to be as they are. We have to recognize that, and we have to realize that we need to up level. We need to allow ourselves to mature in some way, and to not focus on the negative, to not whine and to complain, but instead to really raise our vibration. And then the outcome card for this new moon, well, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, which makes a lot of sense. It's about starting again. It's about renewing our pursuit of the practical things that we want in our life, okay? It's about getting on board with what we really want. So the Reader's Fan, now remember, the Reader's Fan is not as strong or as powerful as these other cards. It says a little story. The Lovers, there's something really good out there for you. Manifest it. Six of Swords, and you are moving in the right direction. Don't lose heart. Two of Wands, there's two different ways you could do this. Pick one. And Eight of Cups. In order to make the space for this manifestation, for this new moon, you need to let something else go. All right. Well, definitely a powerful week, a powerful moon. I would love any feedback, any questions or comments. Please drop them below. Please share it with a friend if you found it helpful. I'm wishing you the most marvelous week, and I'll see you next week.